Okay, happy Monday evening. Thank you guys for joining me for Pilates Mat. For any of you who don't know me, I'm Rachel Peters, physical therapist at Agile headquarters in Palo Alto. Welcome to Pilates Mat Work. If you have been with us, you know the drill. We'll mix things up a little bit, but a lot of the stuff will be similar to what we've done before, if not very, very similar sequences. For those of you new to the class, if you get lost, which I don't think you will, I will give many options to play around with. If you do get lost, stop, take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes. This is a movement experience as much as it is exercise and fitness. So if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm sure you'll be able to pick out at least 2 or 3 major points of all of the exercises that we're doing. And I'm always available for chatting, emails after the class. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get on our mats. You're gonna line that mat up horizontally, so you're facing the screen. You can see what we're doing. You got plenty of room. We're gonna go ahead and line up our feet with our hips, toes pointing forward to maybe just a little bit out to the sides. Let's go ahead and settle into our feet and shift the weight a little bit. Let's shift toward the toes and toward the heels. And as you rock back and forth, pretend there's a string at the crown of your head, drawing you up toward the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes. If you feel steady on your feet, maybe close your eyes a little bit and just feel the movement through your body as you shift forward and back, getting that sense of length through the crown of the head. Go ahead and open up your eyes if they've been closed. We're gonna pause with our weight right over the front of the ankle joints. That's gonna be where our center of gravity rests. And from here, we're gonna lift our toes up. The balls of the feet stay on the floor. We're just gonna lift those toes off the floor, spread them apart, and think about dropping them down to the floor one at a time. That pinky toe goes first, and then each subsequent toe until your big toe touches. Let's go ahead and do that a few times. We're warming up those little muscles in the arches, bringing our attention to some small muscles that help support us on the ground, help keep those arches lifted. We're going to place those big toes on the floor, take the hands right to the midsection, and we'll shift the weight toward the toes, toward the heels. Good, let's keep that going. Let's shift our weight right back over the front of those ankle joints and then shift from foot to foot. We can soften up the knees a little bit, push your weight side to side, almost like you're skating. Small movements. And if we take our hands and place the wet space between the thumb and the forefinger around your waistline, if you press those fingertips into your waist as you make little circles around your base of support, you'll feel them turning on and off at different points during that cycle. We can pause and switch directions, and you'll feel how those muscles kick in a little bit differently when we're going to one side versus to the other. The timing's a little different. Let's complete that circle. We'll come right back over the front of those ankle joints. Now we're going to shift the weight toward the balls of the feet, unweighting those heels a little bit. And let's slowly rise up onto our toes, lifting those heels off the floor, keeping the weight toward the front of your foot. Once you're up as high as you're comfortable going, anywhere from the ground to all the way up on those toes is fair game. We can take our hands and reach them all the way up to the ceiling. We'll take a breath here. Big breath in, keeping the weight toward the toes. And as we exhale, let's keep the weight forward and slowly lower those heels down to the mat. We'll take our arms down by our sides as well. And let's go ahead and turn 90 degrees. We're going to face the front of your mat. Those feet will be a little bit wider than our hips, maybe shoulder width apart. We'll soften up the knees, take the hands to the hips, keeping that trunk nice and still. We're going to bend from the hips, taking that tailbone back toward the wall behind you and the crown of the head forward toward the wall in front of you until you feel that first barrier behind your thighs. Those of you who stretched with me this morning will remember this one. We're feeling those thighs wake up a little bit right at the hamstrings. And then from there, we're going to bend and straighten the knees. Tailbone comes toward the ceiling. And as the knee bends, the tailbone tips down just slightly. Let's go ahead and wiggle through there a little bit, keeping that trunk toward a flat back position. But again, we're going through a range that feels good. Feels like it's warming up your hamstrings a bit. We're going to pause at that barrier, take a big breath in. As you exhale, think about drawing your belly and spine toward each other a little bit, like we're tightening the little seatbelt of muscles right around your waist. And from here, keeping that trunk nice and still, we're going to take an arm forward and the other arm back, lining them up both up with your trunk. Turn your head away from your screen. Let's go ahead and switch through at your own speed. Look towards your screen with that opposite arm out in front of you, and we'll keep switching it up at your own speed. We may revisit this one later on when we finish class today. Let's go one more time in one direction. One more time looking the other way. We'll turn our heads back to the center. Take both hands alongside your trunk. Take a big breath in. Exhaling, we're going to fold ourselves down, bringing those hands toward the mat, bending the knees as much as you need to get those palms on the floor. And we're going to walk ourselves out to an upside down V or a down dog position, pressing the heels of your hands into your supporting surface, pedaling out those feet a little bit, giving those calves a chance to warm up. We'll feel the hamstrings stretching and lengthening out a little bit as that tailbone comes toward the ceiling. Let's drop both feet down to the floor. We'll take another big breath in. We'll exhale, drawing the belly in toward the spine gently, and let's come forward to our plank position, high plank or push-up. And from here, we're going to shift the weight from arm to arm. Push the floor away with the heels of your hands, keeping the rest of your body in line and relatively stationary. Let's take ourselves back to neutral, right in the middle. We'll take those knees down to the mat for cat and cow, sending that tailbone up toward the ceiling and the breastbone forward. Let's go ahead and curl, looking toward that navel. We'll reverse the curve, looking in toward that arch, looking toward the front of the room. Let's do a few more here, finding a range that's working for you. Let's take ourselves right back to neutral and wag our tail side to side. Hip to shoulder, hip to the other shoulder, letting your head follow if you wish. We're going to take everything right back to the middle. Feet come together, knees come apart. We're going to drop the bottom down toward the heels and walk those hands forward toward the front of your mat. We'll spread those fingers wide, reaching them just even half an inch closer to the front of your mat there. And let's see about dropping that forehead toward the floor. Take a breath in and a big breath out, dropping that breastbone toward the floor as well. We're going to relax the elbows, let them bend down toward the floor so the entire forearms are on the mat. We'll shift the weight forward over the arms, take the legs back behind the body so we're resting on those upper thighs, and then pressing through those shoulder blades. We're going to drop the blades toward the floor and draw that belly up away from the mat. Holding it here, it's almost like a little plank right on those thighs. We're going to squeeze the blades together behind the back and then press the blades forward toward the floor. Squeeze and press at your own speed. The crown of the head is reaching slightly up, almost where the wall and the ceiling are going to meet in front of you. That chin stays nicely, gently nodded toward your neck to support those muscles. We'll press those blades down to the floor, take a big breath in. On the exhale, let's drop the upper body down to the mat. We'll roll onto our backs. And we're going to bend the knees up, lining our heels up with our hips. From here, we'll tighten that little seatbelt to muscles underneath your navel by drawing the belly down toward the spine. And you also want to think about drawing your spine up toward your navel. So we're getting a little bit of compression from front to back, but also from back to front to support that waistline. From here, we're going to nod the chin and drop those blades down toward the floor. Let's just nod and release the chin a few times, easing into that lying down position. We want to feel some length, opening up the back of the neck. And you want to feel like you can find a range you can move through while keeping the rest of the body nice and still. So that middle back stays on the floor and that belly stays drawn down. We're going to find that nod position. Once you're nodded down though, we're going to drop that breastbone down just a little bit as well. Maintaining that nod through the chin, see if you can float your head up. Just unweight it from the mat. Maybe it comes up a half an inch, maybe it comes up 2 inches. Keeping those ribs down, we're going to maintain that chin nod. Lower the head back down to the floor, releasing the nod. Nod, lift, lower, release. Nod and lift, lower and release. The rest of the body staying nice and still as we use those deep neck muscles to lift the weight of your head up off the floor. Last time, nod and lift, lower and release. We'll keep a little bit of that nod, keep that head nice and neutral. We're going to draw the belly down a little bit further. We'll bring one knee up to 90 degrees, the other knee up to meet it in tabletop. Hold it here. Again, we're going to nod, lift the head gently. Hold it there. If you feel strain in the back of your neck, bring that head down. Otherwise, we're going to keep that head lifted, and with the belly drawn down, we're going to straighten those legs up toward the ceiling. Hold them there. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Press your hands into the front of your thighs. Give them a little pressure. Maybe we bend up those knees and straighten them out again, keeping some pressure through those thighs this time. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Last time, bend to tabletop. Straighten those legs up if you can. Find that barrier. Pause right there. We're going to bring the upper body down and take those hands back, hovered by your sides. They're going to be lifted up off the floor, lined up with your trunk. Again, we'll reset that chin down toward the neck, maybe lifting it up off the floor. We're going to move into our 100 breaths, taking those hands and patting them up and down for inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that pattern going. You're welcome to have your head up or down. Those legs could be straight. They could be bent to tabletop as we keep that pattern going with the arms. You could have a leg down for a kickstand if you needed some more assist. Keep it going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. To take it further, we can take those legs and straighten them out toward the wall in front of you. We're going to flip those palms up, pressing into the ceiling. Inhale. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe it out. Keep it going. 2, 3, 4, 5. Play around with different leg positions if you want. We'll take one more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe it out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause those arms. Knees come to tabletop if they've been in a different position. We're going to take that upper body down. And then keeping those legs at tabletop, we're going to take the backs of the hands down to the mat. And we're going to draw those shoulder blades down, letting your collarbones come away from the center of the body. That lower body stays nice and active. That belly's drawn down toward the spine. Keeping the leg farthest from your screen, right up at tabletop. We're going to press that near leg forward toward the wall in front of you, straightening out that knee. Keeping that knee straight, we're going to gently and slowly lower the heel toward the floor. Lift that leg back up. Return it to tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, press that far leg out straight toward the wall. We'll control it down, touching the heel. We'll control that straight leg back up. We'll bend back to tabletop. Keep that sequence going at your own pace. Stretch, lower, lift, and to tabletop. Building on it if you want by nodding the chin and raising that head up off the floor. And center. Stretch it out, lower down, lift that straight leg up, return to tabletop. We could always have a kickstand down. We could press the leg out, lower it down, lift it back up, and bend it back to tabletop. We'll meet with both legs in tabletop now. We'll bring the upper body down if it's been up, and the leg farthest from your screen is going to come into your chest, and we'll press that opposite leg down to the mat, straightening out that knee enough that we feel a little bit of a stretch to the front of that thigh. We're going to take that bent knee and rock it across the body. Gently rock through it, getting that hip opener to let go a little bit on that bent leg side. We'll pull it back to the middle and holding onto that knee with soft elbows. We can fold the upper body up or leave it down. We're going to lift that straight leg up off the floor just a couple inches and then take it side to side, painting a horizontal line on the wall in front of you. All the while keeping that trunk as still as you can, letting that leg move independently of the rest of your body. We'll lengthen it out, take it back to the center, and we're going to switch legs. We'll pull that leg closest to your screen in, slide the other leg out along the mat, bring the upper body down if it's been up, and then that bent knee gets gently rocked across to the other side of your body. We're pulling it toward the shoulder or toward the opposite hip, whatever feels best. Pulling into those hip rotators a little bit. Again, we'll take it right back to the center. Keep a hold just below that knee. With the belly down, we could raise the head or leave it down. We'll unweight that straight leg from the floor and take it side to side.
Again, keeping the rest of the body nice and still. One of the advantages of having your head up, in addition to working those neck flexors in the very front, it also lets you see what you're doing with your feet. Sometimes it can make it a little bit easier to keep that trunk still when the head's lifted. We'll stretch that straight leg forward, bring the upper body down if it's been up, and then keeping that straight leg lifted off the floor, we're gonna hold on behind the other thigh and slowly lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. Maybe wiggling through that knee a little bit to find that barrier where you feel like you're getting a little stretch through the hamstring, but not going past it into that lower leg. Find that stretch point. You could always wiggle side to side with the leg. You could rotate it a bit. You could flex and point that foot a little bit as well. Keep a hold behind that thigh. With the belly drawn down, that leg that's been hovered up off the floor is going to lower down to the mat. We'll touch the heel, and then we'll use that lower abdominal area, pelvic area, to control that leg up and down. We could pull that other calf gently towards you if you need more of a stretch. Now we're going to try to keep that leg hovered up off the floor and take your arms down by your sides. We're pressing those blades down into the floor. We're pressing the hands down into the floor. That bottom leg's hovered, the top leg stays up toward the ceiling. And we're going to take that top leg and draw it side to side. Try to draw a nice long horizontal line on the ceiling this time. Maybe we take it a little closer to your screen so you get an inner thigh stretch. It's up to you how far you take that. You could take it farther by bringing your arms to the ceiling. Again, slow it down enough that you can keep the bones in the back of the pelvis pressed into the floor. We can progress and make some circles. If the side-to-side movement of that leg is challenging enough to stay right where you are, you could also draw that supporting leg down to the mat as we switch directions. You could bend it up and keep it resting on the floor. We could bend that knee that's moving. Lots of options here. We're gonna make one final circle there. We'll hold on behind the thigh. And then we're gonna draw that straight leg down to the floor. We're gonna do a tree climb here. This is a little bit different than what we've done the last few times where we grabbed on behind the thigh and then kicked into our leg. What we're gonna do now, option one, if you wanna keep your head lying down on the mat with that chin knotted, we keep the belly in and we're gonna climb the hands up the leg, drawing that leg a little closer to your trunk. That knee could be straight, it could also bend as you climb up the leg, and then we climb back down the leg. So we're climbing the leg as if we're climbing a tree. If you want to lift your head, we do the similar thing. That belly draws down, but we could kick into the leg and actually use those abdominal muscles to control ourselves up and back down, okay? Or we simply pull that leg towards you if you have issues with spinal flexion, if pulling forward and bending forward too much is too much on your back. We're gonna try a couple more options, whichever you choose. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine, we climb up that leg, and we climb it down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, climb up that leg, inhaling at the top. We'll exhale it back down. We'll pull that knee back into the chest, and let's switch those legs up. We're gonna pull that leg farthest from your screen into the chest. Slide that other leg straight. Hold it there, make sure you get that length through the top of that thigh on the straight leg. We'll hover it off the floor, and we're gonna straighten that leg up to the ceiling. Again, find that range. Play with that a little bit. Keeping that belly down. What if that knee is straight and we try to take that leg close to the floor side to side? Does that feel different? Maybe your head's up a little. We'll just play around with those two, see how that feels. We'll lower that upper body down. We're gonna keep that leg slightly lifted off the floor. Take those hands down by the sides. We'll press the hands down and those blades down. And we'll take that leg that's up toward the ceiling and bring it side to side. Draw that line. Again, don't be afraid to make that line a little bit bigger. Get into that inner thigh a little. You can see how it feels if you raise your head here or hover your hands up off the floor. We'll lower the head. Maybe we go ahead and make some circles with that leg. Maybe we circle the other way as well. Let's do one more circle here. Let's hang on behind that thigh. We'll hold it there. We're going to drop that supporting leg down to the mat. And again, we'll climb up the tree. Again, we'll try it, belly drawn down. Maybe we keep the head down. We climb up toward that ankle. Climb that leg back up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Maybe we climb up that leg, coming up to a sitting position before controlling ourselves back down to the mat. Big breath in. Exhale, climb the tree. Inhale, exhale, quiet it down. Let's do one more here. Big breath in. Exhale, climb the tree. I'll pull my leg close to me. I'll climb back down it. I'm going to hold on behind that thigh again. My hands, elbows are going to be gently bent. They're a little bit soft there. We'll draw the belly down. I'm going to lift my head up. You're welcome to keep it down and keep that chin down as well. And we'll move through some straight leg single stretches here. We'll take that other leg up, lower one down, almost like we're scissors cutting the air with our legs. And let's rock through a few here. Maybe we pulse that leg toward our forehead a bit more. Maybe those legs are flexed versus pointed. Maybe we take the hands down by the sides with those shoulder blades drawn down to increase what that trunk has to do to control you through this position. We're going to pull both knees into the chest, roll the upper body down. We'll take those shoulders, rock them down, back and down a bit. Look over one shoulder. Look over that other shoulder. Let's take it right back to the middle. And we'll bring those arms down to the mat and those knees up to tabletop again. Holding them there, we're going to flex the feet. Toes are pulling towards your kneecaps. Those shins are still nice and parallel. We're going to draw that belly down and take the arms up to the ceiling. Let's take those knees side to side. We're going to gently wiggle them, letting the bones in the back of the pelvis come up. As you rock one direction, the opposite side will come up off the floor just a bit. Pull those knees back to tabletop. We're going to point the toes and straighten the legs toward the ceiling this time. And again, we'll take those legs side to side, drawing the belly down, anchoring those shoulder blades into the floor as we move. Let's make some clockwise circles. You could play around with arm position. They could come back overhead to increase the challenge through the upper part of your trunk. We could circle the other way. Let's do one more circle that counterclockwise direction. We'll bring them back up to the ceiling. We'll take those arms up and then all the way forward toward the mat. And we're going to move those legs in opposite directions of each other, drawing some circles on the ceiling. Those circles could be as big or as small as you want. The goal here is to keep that belly down, to keep that pelvis as still as you can as those legs move. If the knees are bent, it might almost feel like a breaststroke or a reverse breaststroke. Again, we're just going for stability through that pelvis and trunk as those legs move. We'll make one more circle, pulling those legs back up to the ceiling. We're going to flex those feet, pulling your toes towards your nose this time. And with those arms anchored into the floor and the belly down, we're going to take those legs and sweep them forward toward the wall in front of you, exhaling, and we'll inhale them back up to the ceiling. Exhale, open them forward, inhale back up to the ceiling. We can take leverage off by keeping those knees bent, exhaling the feet to the floor, inhale them back up. We can make it harder by taking those arms to the ceiling, whether those legs are straight or bent. Exhale forward, inhale to the ceiling. And we'll do one more here, taking it to that final step, taking the arms back as the legs come forward, inhaling them back to the top. And again, we'll pull both knees in and rock everything into a little shoulder roll. Take the body side to side. Coming right back to the middle, we'll take ourselves back up to that tabletop position one final time, bringing the arms to the ceiling. Shoulder blades drop. We take one arm back overhead and take the other leg forward. And let's move through at our own speed, making a nice long diagonal with that overhead arm and that outstretched leg. Keep that going. Up to you how quickly or slowly you move through the motion. That belly stays nice and drawn down. We could also have both legs straight to progress this one. This is our final task here, working through those abdominals primarily before we move on. We'll do one more stretch on each side. We'll pull everything back to tabletop. We'll draw the knees in one more time, rocking everything side to side. And let's take those feet to the floor. The arms come down to meet them. Big breath in, big breath out, belly and spine draw toward each other. Let's press through those heels, lifting up into bridge. We're going to stretch those knees toward the wall in front of you and see if that tailbone can come up half an inch higher. Feel those glutes working. Big breath in, lengthen through the front of your thighs, and we'll bring ourselves down to our starting position. Big breath in again. Exhale, bridge it up. And let's go ahead and move through a few more bridges here at your own speed. We're trying to keep that chin nice and still. Let the lower half of your body control this motion. Let's do two more here, feeling that squeeze at the top. We're going to hold our next one up at the top, press those arms a little more firmly into the floor. And now we're going to rise up onto the toes, lift your heels, lower your heels. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Keep going. We're trying to keep those hips lifted to the same height, whether the knees are coming down as the heels come down or not. That bottom's going to stay lifted. That'll give you a little bit more of a stretch through the top of the thighs and really work those gluteal muscles. We're going to drop the heels down. We'll move to rotation. That hip closest to the screen lowers and then lifts up. And then the opposite hip lowers and lifts. Again, let's go ahead and rock through there at your own speed. Lowering and lifting. One more time to each. Lower and lift. Big breath in. On the exhale, let's lengthen back down to the floor. Shake those legs up for a second. Give those glutes a break. We'll take a big breath in. Reorganize, setting that belly back down toward the spine, and we'll lift up, pressing the heels into the floor. We could stick with rotation like we just did, or we could move to a march, lifting a knee up and down, and then lifting the other knee up and down. Let's keep pressing that opposite foot as firmly as we can into the floor. We can vary this up a little by straightening a knee as we bring that leg to the ceiling. Keep it going. We could add a leg lowering and a lift as we move through. Again, that goal is to keep that pelvis as still as you can throughout the motion here. We're going to take a big breath in with that second foot pressed down, and we'll exhale back down out of our bridge. Let's move our pelvis through a clock face. We're going to go 12 to 6, sending the breastbone down to the mat and that pubic bone towards your breastbone, and then lengthen down towards 6 o'clock. Breastbone down, pubic bone stretches through, and then we lengthen that pubic bone down toward the floor the other way. Let's take ourselves back to neutral and take that pelvis from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. One hip comes down toward the floor as the other rotates up, and we'll switch through at our own speed, giving those glutes a little time to recover before our last set of bridging. Let's take ourselves right back to neutral. We're going to bring the leg closest to the screen up to tabletop, maybe even extending it up to the ceiling. Hold that leg there, either flexed or pointed. We're going to press through the heel of the supporting leg and rise up and down through our single leg bridge. Lift and lower. Keep that going. If you need to take some leverage off, we come back to tabletop, maybe even putting that knee onto your supporting leg for a little more stability there. Let's go ahead and lower that foot back down. We'll press that foot into the floor. Take that leg farthest from your screen. Take it up toward the ceiling. Bent knee, straight knee, pointed toe, up to you. We'll press through that supporting heel, rising up and lowering down. Remembering the modifications we can use. We could bend the knee. We could also take that foot forward a little bit toward the wall in front of you. Feel what that does to challenge stability. Let's go one more here on this side. We'll lower it down. We're going to cross that leg that's been up in the air, cross it over the other one. Pull them into your chest. Give them a little hug. Rock the body side to side. Depending on how flexible that hip is feeling, you don't have to rotate a ton. You could simply cross it over a little bit and oscillate back and forth to get into that hip. Let's go ahead and cross the other one over. Again, pulling them in, rocking everything side to side. Let's go ahead and unwind them. Give them one final hug into our chest. We'll take the feet down to the floor and then straighten those legs out along the mat as well. Arms are going to come to the ceiling. If you're not comfortable here with those legs out straight, remember you can always bend them. Elbows staying straight, chin nodding toward the neck. We're going to wrap those shoulder blades around the front of the body, reach the fingertips to the ceiling. Keeping that chin nice and still, we'll draw the blades down. Squeeze them forward, reaching those fingertips up, and then drop those blades down. Let's try a few more here, reaching straight up toward the ceiling. We'll drop the blades down. Now let's take those arms halfway back toward the wall behind you. So those elbows are just above the height of your nose. Again, hold on to them there. Pay attention to where your hands are. Try to leave your hands right where they are. And again, wrap those shoulder blades up to the ceiling, down to the floor. They won't go quite as far. They're doing a little bit different of a motion here with those hands stay back. We're rotating them up toward the ceiling versus purely wrapping them around the front of the body. We're going to drop the blades down. Take those arms back a little farther if you have any more room. If those fingertips touch or thumbs touch the floor, lift them up just a couple centimeters, couple inches off the floor. And again, try that shoulder blade wrap up to the ceiling, down to the floor. We'll drop the blades down to the floor. We're going to hold those arms back behind your head. Nod your chin towards your neck. Take that breastbone, drop it down toward the floor. Take those lowest ribs and anchor them to the floor. If you're stiff in your middle back, that might pop the hands up a little closer to the ceiling. That's okay. We're going to draw the belly down. And then keeping everything else nice and still, let's walk our feet out. One lifts up as the other one presses down. And then switch them through at your own speed. If your knees are bent, it's going to look like a march. And if you want to challenge it further, you could lift one up as the other one's coming down, provided that belly stays down. Keep that going at whatever level's working for you. If you're in a march with those knees bent, it's going to look like almost like a dead bug exercise. Keep those legs moving. We're going to take those arms back up to the ceiling. We'll take a big breath in when they get there. Feet stay quiet now. Take those arms back overhead. Exhale. And let's go ahead and roll over to our stomachs. And once we're there, we're going to take those feet, maybe bring them apart from each other a little bit if you feel like you need a little more room for your low back. You're always welcome to find a cushion or rolled towel to put right above your pelvis if you feel like you need something to keep that back from arching a ton. We'll be using our muscles to support it, but sometimes a little extra support never hurts. We're going to take the forehead, rest it on the backs of your hands, rest those palms on the floor. Find a comfortable position for your legs. We'll take a big breath in here. And as you exhale, draw your belly up towards your spine. Your skin can still touch the mat. We just want to keep that back supported. And keeping the head down and that belly pulled in, we're going to flutter kick the legs. Keep kicking them. Squeeze through those glutes. Keep those knees as straight as you can. The more limited your motion in the front of your hips is, the more it'll be difficult to lift the legs up off the floor. It's okay if they don't go up a ton. And if your knees are bent, your kick will look like this. You'll feel it more in your hamstrings. Let's click those heels together. Click, 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 click. Quick motions. That belly stays drawn up toward the spine. Maybe the hands come back toward your feet. Let's flutter kick the legs again with the hands reaching back toward your feet. And let's flip those palms toward the floor. Maybe we send that breastbone toward the wall in front of you, provided you can still keep that belly drawn in. So we're getting a little bit of arch through that upper back, taking pressure off those front part of your spine. We get to keep that flutter kick going. Maybe we take the arms out on a T to challenge the mid back a little bit. Maybe we take those arms forward And alternate them with your legs, going for a little swim. Let's keep those legs going. We'll bring those arms back by your sides, palms facing the floor. Let's drop those feet to the floor with that belly stayed in. Pull it up toward the ceiling. Lift those hands a bit. We're going to pulse the backs of the hands to the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. Big breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to push ourselves up to hands and knees for a couple cats and cows. Relaxing those joints, letting the muscles stretch a little bit. We'll take it back to neutral and wag our tails side to side. Taking them back to neutral, we're going to line up the back of the head with the mid-back and with the sacrum, that very top of your pelvis. If you had something balanced in the small of your back, you want to keep it balanced for the next few exercises. From here, that belly and spine stay drawn toward each other. We're going to keep a little nod in the chin and just look side to side. Look over one shoulder and over the other. Make sure you feel like you can keep the back of your head in line with your trunk as you do that versus letting it drop toward the floor. We'll look back down to the floor now, and now we'll squeeze the shoulder blades together behind the back and then press those blades toward the floor. Squeeze and press. Your back's going to move a little bit as it goes along for the ride with those blades, but you should, if you had something balanced in the small of your back, you should theoretically be able to hold it still. Keep it from falling off as you go. To progress this, we're going to take the hand closest to your screen, lift it up off the mat, maybe take it to your thigh, and push up and down through that other arm. Keep it working. We're going to try to keep those shoulders level with each other as we press through that muscle right at the front of the shoulder blade, right underneath your armpit. Switch those hands. Keeping the hands spread wide will help you keep pressure off the heel of the hand, excess pressure. Squeeze the blade behind your back, press it forward. Try a couple more here. A lot of times this is significantly easier on the arm you tend to write with or be dominant with, so just be aware of that. We'll press that blade to the floor, take that second hand down, reset everything, and we're going to take the arm closest to your screen out to the side, maybe follow it up. We're going to thread the needle. Reach it through toward the opposite wall. Take it up and out. Reach it through. Let's do a couple more here. Keep that supporting arm nice and straight. We're pressing through the heel of that hand as we open that breastbone toward the other wall. We'll reach it through one final time, coming back up to hands and knees. Let's reset. We'll take a big breath in. That opposite arm comes up. Press through the heel of the supporting hand. Thread the needle, reach it through. Inhale up and out. Exhale, reach. Let's do two more here. Breathing in, up and out. Exhale, reach. Last one here. Inhale up and out. Exhale, thread it through. We'll take ourselves back up to hands and knees. Let's take those forearms down to the floor. The head is lower than your hips, and I know some of you have heard me say this before. If you have blood pressure issues or if you don't tend to feel great with your head lower than your heart, go ahead and come back up to hands and knees. It's completely fine to do it this way. If we are down on the forearms, you could double your fists up, resting your forehead on one of them. We're going to take the leg closest to your screen and stretch it back behind the body, lifting it up and down with a straight leg. Again, we're trying to keep that trunk nice and supported. So move in a range where you feel like you can control the arch in your back. Keep it nice and still. We'll lift that leg up to hip height and take it side to side, draw it away from the screen and toward the screen. Just like we did when we moved that leg side to side and we were on our backs, we're trying to keep the trunk nice and still. That leg stretches behind the body. We'll bend the knee to 90 degrees, take it down, lift it up. Again, keeping the rest of the body as still as possible as we lift and lower from that hip joint. Press the heel and pulse it to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll bring it back down. Let's slide that opposite leg out straight, the leg farthest from your screen. We'll lift it up and down. Again, keeping that trunk nice and still. If you wanted to monitor, you could take your forearm and rest it on the front of your pelvis. Hold that leg up there, take it side to side, draw that line in the wall behind you.
Stretch that leg back. We'll bend it. Control that knee down and press it up. Lower and lift. Let's do 2 more here. Lift and press. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take that knee back down. We're going to bring the feet together and the knees apart. Bring your bottom down towards your heels. We'll walk those hands forward a bit toward the front of your mat as you stretch your bottom back. Drop your forehead down. Take a big breath in. Exhale. One more time, big breath in. We'll exhale. Let's come back up to hands and knees. And we'll move through our arm and leg progressions here. The arm closest to your screen can come forward. That opposite leg can come back behind the body. Again, keeping that trunk and pelvis nice and still. Let's control back to our starting position and switch it up. We can work through this, moving opposites. We could challenge it further by moving to same side arm and leg lifts. Notice that your weight shift is a little bit different if we're lifting the same side versus opposite sides. We're going to keep that going. If you do want to challenge this further, we come up into a full plank. We could lift a foot. We could lift an arm. We could go to opposites. Let's do 1 more here on each side, whichever progression you've chosen, feet up or knees up or knees down. We're going to make our way back down to hands and knees for a couple more cats and cows. We'll come back to neutral. We're going to bring those forearms down to the mat again and then take those legs back behind the body, resting on the upper thighs. We'll squeeze those blades together like we did at the beginning of class. We'll press them as far apart from each other as we can. Hold it there. Belly draws up a little bit to support your back. We're going to bend one knee, kick that heel toward the bottom and straighten it out and switch it up. And let's keep that going, again, at your own speed. Try to keep the curve in your lower back the same. It's okay to have a curve there. You just want to make sure it's staying nice and controlled. Click, click, click. Straighten them out. Take a big breath in here. On that exhale, we'll take ourselves down. Push ourselves right back up to hands and knees. And we're going to come forward to a long sitting position. Feet are out in front of us. Feet are going to be at each of the front edges of your mat. See if you can flex your feet up a little bit. We're going to try to sit up nice and tall. Again, that string at the crown of your head still lifting you up toward the ceiling. If your hamstrings are feeling a little tight or you feel like you're getting into your back a little too much, bend up those knees. We're going to take those arms up, line them up at the middle of your feet, and keep them about parallel to the ground here. With that belly drawn in, we're going to hinge, reaching those fingertips forward in front of your feet, and take ourselves back up to that upright position. Exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall. Keep that pattern going. Exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall. We're going to hold our next hinge and let those hands come down to your legs wherever they rest. Maybe they touch your toes. Maybe they're on your shins. Maybe they're up at your knees. Hold it wherever they are. We're going to bring the hands to the leg closest to that screen, and we're going to open that arm up to the side. Let's go ahead and sweep through to the other side. That belly stays pulled in. As that arm moves, we're actually moving from our breastbone. The arm is kind of going along for the ride. We'll sweep them through. Arm comes out just until we don't really have much more slack in the system. Then we take that breastbone and rotate a bit more. Let's go 1 more time away from the screen. Arm comes out. We gently rotate the breastbone. We come right back to the middle. Come up to a nice tall sit again, and let's bend up those knees. See if you can rock your body back a little bit. So we're in a little bit of a backward angle. We're going to hold on behind those thighs for support. And if you don't tend to cramp in your toes and your arches, come up onto your toes. Maybe think about balancing. We're right in front of your sacrum here, right behind the tailbone. Those feet can be lifted. They could be on the floor, either the ball of the feet, the toes, or your heels. And then from here, we're going to straighten one knee out and bend it up.
and then the other, and bend. Let's keep that going a couple more times. We could take the arms out parallel to the ground for a progression. We could take them up a little bit for a progression. We could move both at the same time, keeping that belly drawn in, making those little adjustments so we stay balanced. We're going to bring those feet back to the floor. Come up nice and tall for a little brief seated cat-cow. Pulling the belly in, we'll come to a straight back position. We're going to take the hands to the outsides of your knees. Press your hands and your knees toward each other. And with that belly drawn in, we're going to open the hand closest to your screen. Look over that shoulder. We'll take it back to the center and switch it up. And let's go ahead and move through at our own speeds. Opening up. One more time to each side. We'll take them back to the middle. We'll sit up nice and tall. Let's rock through that cat-cow one or two more times. We're going to go ahead and turn and face that screen again. And we'll take a seat. We can sit cross-legged. We could sit with the feet in front. Or you could find a cushion or a footstool to sit on if it's not feeling super comfortable on your hips to be in either of those two positions. We're going to get up tall over our sit bones. Take those arms out to the side. Big breath in. And we'll take a nice tall side bend on that exhale, reaching your straight arm up and over to reach the opposite corner. Inhale, lift. Exhale, switch. Inhale, lift. Exhale, switch. One more time to each side. We'll side bend. Maybe we add a little rotation, bringing that breastbone to face the floor. We can unwind, take it up again. Side bend the other way. We can add that little breastbone rotation. Take it up to the side. Come up nice and tall. We'll roll those shoulders back and down. We're going to take those arms out to the side, palms facing forward. And we're going to squeeze those blades back and pulse them for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big breath in as we squeeze. On the exhale, we'll take them back down. Tip an ear to a shoulder. We'll tip the other ear to the other shoulder. We'll take them right back to the middle. And let's go ahead and bring those feet out in front of us. Your bottom's going to stay at the front edge of your mat. Your feet will be just in front of you. If you feel like you're going to slip wherever your feet are, feel free to go ahead and turn the other direction. We're going to take the hands back behind the body. Those fingertips are either going to be facing forward toward your screen or out to the sides. Wherever they're facing, we're going to straighten out the elbows as best you can. Squeeze your blades a little bit. And if you still have a little bit of room, you could inch your legs forward a little bit so your bottom comes forward toward the front of your mat. Squeezing those blades together, we're going to send that breastbone toward the front of the room. Hold it there. As you breathe in, you should feel a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of opening through the chest. Hold it there. We're going to slide the legs out straight here and maintain that openness through the front of the chest. Hold it there. Keep that belly drawn in. We can hold this here, or we can challenge it further by lifting your bottom up. We're doing a reverse plank. Hold it there. Big breath in, press those heels into the ground. Big breath out. One more time. Big breath in, big breath out. Slowly lower your bottom down. Walk your bottom back towards your hands. Shake those wrists out a little bit. Let's bend and straighten the elbows. Roll those shoulders back and down a couple of times. We'll tip an ear to a shoulder. Tip the other ear to the other shoulder. Take it back to the middle. And let's come up onto our knees. Once we're up there, we're going to take one leg out straight. Place the foot on the floor. See if you can get the whole sole of the foot on the floor. If it won't go, it's okay. You can point your toes out to the side a little bit. We're going to take those arms out to the side. Big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to take a side bend toward that bent knee. Maybe reaching that arm up and over, depending on how much control you have. We're using our trunk muscles to control that side bend in both directions. Maybe we add a leg lift as we come up and over, bending away from that straight leg. Lift
side bend. Let's do one more here. Little side bend. We'll come up nice and tall. And we're gonna rotate. We're gonna rotate that breastbone towards your straight leg, towards your bent knee. Keep that going. We're trying to keep the pelvis pointing directly forward as that upper body moves. One more time to each side. Rotate and rotate. Take it back to the middle. Hands are going to come to your hips. If you do find that you need more padding for your knee, place a roll towel or bench your mat up a little bit to give yourself a little more padding. We're going to hinge forward. Take the crown of the head forward, that tailbone back. We'll come up nice and tall. Exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall. Let's do two more here. Exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall. And last time, exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall. Let's go ahead and switch legs. We'll bend that other knee, straightening out that other foot, leg. Inner thigh might feel a little stretch there as we come up. Find your foot position that's working for you on that straight leg. And we'll take the arms out to the side. And from here, let's side bend toward that bent leg. Side bend toward that straight leg. We're controlling that belly toward the spine so that rib cage continues to lift up and over the pelvis. Let's do two more side bends here. Bent toward the straight. Last time, side bend toward the bent knee. Side bend toward that straight knee. We'll come up nice and tall. Arms are up, parallel to the ground. Keeping that pelvis facing forward. Let's rotate toward our straight leg. Rotate toward our bent leg. We're moving from that breastbone, moving and rotating along the long axis, right through the center of the body, right through the crown of the head, right through the rib cage, or just behind the rib cage, right through the middle of the pelvis. We'll come back to the center, hands to the hips, big breath in, exhale, hinge, crown of the head comes forward, inhale up tall. Hinge it forward, take it up top. Last two, take it up tall. And last one, take it up tall. Let's come down. We're going to come down all the way onto a side, resting the head on the upper arm. We're going to straighten out those knees. Feet are going to be slightly in front of the body, the hips a little bit piked, so there's a little bit of bend in your hip. We're going to take that top leg up to hip height. Keep the foot flexed, and with your top hand on the floor for a little support, press your bottom leg as firmly as you can into the mat. We're going to swing that top leg forward. Kick it twice, point the toe, draw it back. Kick, kick, and point. Keep that going. Find a range where you can control it. You want that trunk to stay nice and still. If you want to make it harder, the hand comes up off of the floor. Maybe we add some arm choreography. As the leg comes forward, that arm can come back. As the leg comes back, the arm can come forward. If that's too much, stick with just those leg movements. Kick, kick, and point. We're going to hold that leg back there. Take that top arm up. See if you can take it overhead. If you need stability, it's okay to have it down. We're going to take that top leg, press it down into the floor behind the bottom leg. We'll arc it up, touch it down in front. Back and forth. Again, we're trying to move from that hip, keeping the pelvis and trunk nice and still as that leg moves. Last time, touch it down behind, touch it down in front. We're going to come up, lining up that top leg with your body. We're going to circle it. We'll take it forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in the air. Bring that top arm down for some stability. Bottom leg lifts up to meet the top leg. We're going to take them down and up together. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in there. Big breath in. Exhale them down. Bend up those knees. Pat out that hip. And let's take it up. We'll come over to the other side. Same thing. Rest that head on your top arm. We'll straighten out those legs. Hips are a little piked. Feet are slightly in front of the body. We're going to press that bottom leg down to the floor. Lift that top leg to hip height. Find a position that feels useful for your top arm. And we're going to swing that leg. Kick it forward twice. Point it back. Press that bottom leg down as we kick, kick, and point.
Top arm can hang free or go into the choreography, moving back as the leg comes forward, forward as the leg comes back. Last two. Kick, kick. Leg comes back, arm comes up overhead or down by the side for support. Top leg comes down behind the bottom leg, and we arc it up, touching down in front. Back and forth. Press that bottom leg down, give yourself a little more support. And you might want to think about lifting your waistline up from the floor as well. Last time, back and forth. Lift it up, let's hold it there. Top arm can be overhead. We're going to circle. We'll circle the other way. What if we hold that leg up there and try to pulse it? Hold it up there. Bring that bottom leg up to meet the top leg. Top hand could be down or lifted. We'll take them down and up last. 2. Hold it up there. Big breath in. Exhale, take it down. Bend at the knees. Pat your hip out. And let's roll to our backs. We'll go ahead and pull those knees into the chest. Give them a little hug. Rock the body side to side. Let that low back sink into the mat. We're going to cross one leg over the other. Pull them both into your chest, getting into those deeper hip rotator opening muscles. Maybe rock side to side a little bit. Let's unwind, switch them up. Pull the other leg across. Pull them in towards your chest. Rocking side to side just a little. If they don't come in that far, that's okay. You could have one foot pressed into the floor. We could press that knee out to the side. It'll get into those same muscles at a slightly different angle. We're going to go ahead and unwind, pull those knees back into the chest. Let's take our feet to the floor. We'll roll over to hands and knees. We could do a couple more cats and cows. Preparing to stand. We could make our way to standing straight away, or we could move through a plank. Maybe take a push-up or 2 here. If you're feeling like those arms need a little more. We're going to take our tailbones to the ceiling for a little inverted V, pedaling out those feet. If you're ready to be up and standing, again, by all means, go ahead and get yourself up and situated. We're going to drop those heels down if we're in that inverted V. When we make our way to standing, we're going to be balancing. So if you want to find something to stand near, either a wall, a sofa back, a chair, something steady that you could use for a little balance assist, it's up to you. You can find it now. We're going to walk our feet back toward our hands if we're in that down dog still. We're going to pull the belly in to support ourselves as we come up to standing. And once you're up and situated, let's go ahead and face the screen so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to, again, line our feet up with our hips, toes pointing straight forward or a little out to the side. We'll shift our weight to the front of the ankle joints and then lift those toes, spread them apart. Let's lower them down one at a time again. And we go through them a little bit. Let's drop those toes to the floor. Softening up the knees. Let's go ahead and shift the weight to one side. We're going to stand heel to toe. Find that position as if you were a tightrope walker or a gymnast on a balance beam. If you want to have something to hold on to, you're welcome to. If you want to make this more challenging, look side to side. Take your eyes out of the equation without having to close them. Take them back to the middle. Switch it up. Take the other foot in front. Remember, the other side could be a whole different ball game, so if you want to find something to hold on to, go ahead and do so. Find your balance point. We could look side to side. We can take ourselves back to the middle. Uncross those legs. Let's shift to one side again. Get the weight right over that supporting ankle joint, right in front. We can lift up into single leg balance. Hold it here. If you want to make things harder, let's do some leg movements. We can take that free leg, take it forward, take it side, take it back, take it side, move it around a little bit. See how it does if you
Challenge your stability by using your other leg to kind of weight yourself in different directions. Come back to that single leg balance, and we'll switch. Let's go ahead and shift the weight over that front of that other ankle joint. Lifting up into our balance if we can. Hold it there. If you want to challenge it further again, you can take that leg, move it in different directions. Cross it over the body, cross it behind. Take it back up to that balance point. Take those feet down, shake them out. We're going to take those feet about shoulder width apart now. We're going to bend the knees a little bit. So the bottom is sticking straight back behind us. I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Those lower legs are staying relatively vertical. We're just sitting back almost like you're going to sit in a chair. Hands are going to stay right on those hips. And from here, we're going to shift the weight from foot to foot. You put your hands right around towards your glutes. You should feel those muscles working a bit as you shift to one side and then to the other. We can take this from a side-to-side shift into what we call airplane. We shift the weight to one side. Again, if you need something to hold on to, go ahead and do so. Once the weight's shifted to that side, we're going to lift up the opposite leg, stretch it back behind us a bit, and then take it back. Shift to the other leg, feel that glute working. Take that opposite leg behind us. That trunk could be up on a diagonal. We could also find our way toward a flat back position if you want to challenge it further. I'm going to leave that up to you. We're going to do 2 more on each side. Shifting, taking a leg back. Remembering that we're keeping those toes in front of your knees the whole time. Those knees stay behind the toes as we shift. We could take this up a little harder, make it a little harder by lifting up and down on the toes with that knee slightly bent. Okay? Ultimately, you'd like to try to get your leg and your trunk lined up with each other. I have a hard time doing that and looking at the screen at the same time. Let's do one more here. We'll take our feet back down to the floor, come up nice and tall. You might feel a little burn in those glutes. You might feel a little burn in the lower legs after doing that. Nice work. That was a harder one. We're going to go ahead and take those feet shoulder width apart. Roll the shoulders back and down a couple times. We'll take a big breath in, clasp your palms, take them up to the ceiling, and drop those blades down to the floor. Let's take a tall side bend one direction. Inhale them up to the ceiling, and take a tall side bend the other way. Let's lift those arms up. Arms come down by the sides with our feet together. We'll take one more big breath in, reaching those hands to the ceiling. Let's pull them in toward the middle. And as always, thank you so much for coming and working out with me. Looking forward to feedback, suggestions, questions about things you might want to work on, or if you want to know where you're supposed to be feeling something, if I didn't give you a good enough instruction, my email is rachel@agilept.com. That's RACHEL. And I look forward to seeing you guys again and hearing your feedback. Have a great evening, everybody.